Imagine stepping into a world thousands of years ago, where a powerful civilization known as the Shang Dynasty ruled over ancient China. And what incredible secrets do they still hold today? The Shang Dynasty and its historical significance. In this world, kings sought the guidance of supernatural forces to make decisions on everything from war to harvests. The Shang people are known for their advancements in bronze metallurgy, their complex social structure, and their belief in the divine power of the ancestors. But among their most fascinating practices was their reliance on divination. The intense heat caused the bones to crack in unpredictable ways, and these cracks were believed to be divine messages. The cracks were then carefully examined and their patterns interpreted as answers to the questions posed. They asked everything. Some of the most common inquiries included: will the king's army be victorious? If the cracks suggested a positive outcome, the king would proceed with his plans. If the answer was uncertain or negative, the king might delay military campaigns or take other precautionary measures. The first written records of Chinese characters. Or will the harvest be abundant this year? And the oracle bones represent one of the earliest examples of this crucial development. Today, scholars use these bones to trace the evolution of Chinese characters and to gain insight into the language of the Shang Dynasty. Rediscovery of oracle bones. The interpretation of these cracks was far from random. They offered concrete evidence of the Shang Dynasty's political and religious life, showing that divination and communication with the divine were at the heart of the dynasty's governance. The script carved onto the bones, known as oracle bone script, is the earliest form of Chinese writing. This ancient script is not only the precursor to modern Chinese characters, but also the oldest form of writing still in use today. Many modern Chinese characters can be traced back to their origins in oracle bone script. At the heart of the oracle bone practice was ancestor worship. The Shang kings believed that their ancestors held the power to influence their lives, and they sought their guidance through divination. The Shang people believed that honoring their ancestors through divination was a way to maintain harmony and ensure prosperity. The oracle bones acted as a bridge between the human world and the spiritual world, providing the kings with the answers they sought to maintain the stability of the empire. Showing just how foundational the bones were in shaping Chinese writing. Today, scholars continue to study these ancient characters. To today's modern system is a testament to the lasting impact of these ancient inscriptions. Chinese calligraphy, which remains an essential art form. In popular culture, they are often depicted as mysterious ancient artifacts imbued with mystical powers. Their association with divination, the supernatural, and early writing makes them a compelling subject for books, films, and documentaries. The dramatic process of divination, with the heat and cracking of the bones, adds an element of intrigue that has inspired countless creative works. Traces its roots to the style of writing found on the oracle bones. They represent the quest for knowledge, the human desire to understand the unknown, and the enduring mystery of the past. Their story is one of discovery, interpretation, and connection between the divine and the earthly. Oracle bones in popular culture. They provide us with a unique glimpse into the political, religious, and cultural practices of one of China's earliest and most influential dynasties. As we continue to study and learn from these ancient artifacts, we gain a deeper understanding of not only China's past, but also the ways in which civilizations throughout history have sought to understand their place in the world and communicate with the divine. Their influence on the development of Chinese writing cannot be overstated, and their legacy continues to shape Chinese culture today. The use of oracle bones gradually declined after the fall of the Shang Dynasty. When the Zhou dynasty took power in 1046 BCE, the shift in religious practices from the Shang to the Zhou marked a major turning point, but the importance of ancestor worship continued to play a central role in Chinese culture for centuries. Even in modern times, the belief in ancestor veneration remains a significant aspect of Chinese society. Legacy of oracle bones in modern China. The new rulers did not place the same emphasis on divination through oracle bones. While the Zhou also practiced divination, they adopted different methods and shifted away from the use of bones and shells for spiritual communication. The answers, as interpreted by the diviners, were seen as messages from the divine. These answers could shape the king's decisions, from military strategies to personal matters, where they continue to attract attention from scholars, historians, and the general public. Their legacy goes beyond their role as religious artifacts. They are seen as symbols of China's ancient civilization and the continuous development of Chinese writing. The kings often use the answers to guide the governance of their state, reinforcing the belief that divine forces had direct control over earthly affairs. Using them to unravel more of China's ancient past and understand the evolution of its language. Cultural and religious impact. This discovery was pivotal in uncovering the social structure of the Shang Dynasty, many of which were used to write questions about the future or communicate with the gods. The structure of these characters was similar to the characters used in later Chinese writing systems, with many of them forming the foundation for today's complex characters. While oracle bone script was primarily used for divination, it also served as the foundation for the development of a written language that would evolve into the modern Chinese writing system we know today, revealing not only the king's role in seeking divine guidance, but also the presence of a priestly class that specialized in interpreting the bones cracks. But in the 19th century, they were rediscovered by scholars. Topics of inquiry included agricultural issues, military campaigns, royal lineage, and omens that foretold the future. This gave scholars insight into how the Shang kings conducted their rule. The oracle bones weren't just about the kings asking for divine favor. They also served as records of their decisions and the answers they received from their ancestors. These bones were an essential record of the dynasty's political and religious history, something no other form of writing from that era could provide. The evolution of Chinese writing, sparking a wave of historical curiosity and scientific inquiry. The first major discovery of oracle bones came in the late 19th century when archaeologists unearthed thousands of them from the ruins of the ancient Shang capital of Yin, near modern-day Anyang in Henan province. These bones had been buried for thousands of years, and the revelations they contained would transform the understanding of China's early history. The Shang kings believed that their ancestors, particularly their royal ancestors, had the power to influence their lives. While digging for artifacts, stumbled upon the bones. What appeared to be ordinary relics turned out to be invaluable treasures that would offer the key to understanding the language, culture, and religious practices of the Shang Dynasty. In the early 20th century, scholars began deciphering the inscriptions on the bones, realizing that they were not just tools of divination but the earliest examples of Chinese writing, scientific and archaeological importance. The script carved onto the bones is known as oracle bone script, and it is the direct ancestor of modern Chinese characters. By consulting the oracles, they sought the favor of their ancestors, asking for blessings in battle, good harvests, and favorable weather conditions. Skilled diviners had years of experience reading the subtle patterns formed by the cracks, giving them an uncanny ability to make accurate predictions, at least in the eyes of the Shang people, the role of kings and ancestors, from whether they would win battles to how the weather would affect their crops. The kings would often carve questions into the bones, then apply heat to the bones, causing them to crack. Afterward, diviners would read the cracks and interpret them as divine responses. The divination process. Their communication with these forces came through a mystical object that would change the course of history, oracle bones. The characters were carved into the surface of the bones, often with great care and precision. Over 4,000 characters have been found on oracle bones, many of which were used to record the questions asked during divination, while others provided commentary on the answers. In this video, we'll dive deep into the fascinating world of oracle bones. What were they? How did they influence the Shang Dynasty? The process, known as scapulomancy, involved heating these bones until they cracked, and the cracks were interpreted as messages from the gods or ancestors. The Shang Dynasty, which thrived from around 1600 to 1046 BCE, is one of China's earliest recorded dynasties. The practice of divination was essential to Shang rulers. The question would typically be written in early Chinese script, which is fascinating in its own right. Oracle bones are considered some of the earliest examples of Chinese writing. Kings would consult oracles for guidance on almost every aspect of governance. But how did they do this? The answer lies in the oracle bones. What are oracle bones? Oracle bones are pieces of animal bones or turtle shells used in divination. The Shang kings believed that the cracks would reveal answers to their questions. The divination process began with the king or priest carving a question into the surface of the bone or shell. Once the question was written, the bones were heated using a hot rod. But how could a crack in a bone tell you if you win a battle or what the weather would be like? At the heart of the oracle bone practice was the belief in ancestor worship. The questions carved into the oracle bones reflect this deep reverence for the ancestors. Diviners would then interpret the cracks on the bones as the voice of the ancestors, communicating divine will. What makes oracle bones truly remarkable is that they contain some of the earliest known forms of Chinese writing. Oracle bone script is fascinating because it marks the first time in history that writing was used for divination. The development of written language is a huge milestone in human history. The significance of oracle bones remained hidden for centuries. The rediscovery began when local farmers. The oracle bones provided more than just a glimpse into the past. The inscriptions found on the bones revealed a wealth of information about the daily life of the Shang people. Perhaps one of the most remarkable discoveries linked to the oracle bones is the development of early Chinese writing. Oracle bone script consisted of over 4,000 characters. The relationship between oracle bone script and modern Chinese characters is a fascinating one. The oracle bones not only provided insight into language and governance, but also offered a window into the Shang Dynasty's deep-rooted religious beliefs. Through the cracks in the bones, the kings communicated with their ancestors, asking questions that covered a wide range of issues. Ancestor worship was central to Shang society, and the oracle bones serve as a tangible reminder of the relationship between the living and the dead. The decline of oracle bone usage. Despite their significant role in Shang society, although the practice of using oracle bones faded, their impact on Chinese culture remained. Today, oracle bones are an integral part of China's cultural heritage and identity. The bones themselves have been preserved in museums. The legacy of the oracle bones extends to the modern Chinese language as well. The evolution of Chinese characters from oracle bone script. Oracle bones also continue to capture the imagination of people around the world. The oracle bones are more than just ancient relics. In conclusion, the oracle bones of the Shang Dynasty are among the most significant archaeological discoveries in history. The oracle bones stand as a testament to the ingenuity and spirituality of the Shang people, and their story continues to captivate the world.